The essence of this training is to equip you to be able to file your personal income tax returns on the GRA portal. So I would like to know if you've been able to log on onto the portal. If not, I know how to begin my teaching with you, because if you don't have access to the portal, you can't log on to it. I don't want us to go back after the training before we are able to log on to the portal. I don't see anyone with their hands up. Okay. Let me try logging onto the portal for you to have a fair idea of how the portal looks like. So you go to the Ghana Gov, click on GRA, you go with the file and pay of taxes, you go to the file and pay, it will redirect you. When you get here, what you need to do is to key in your Ghana card. Okay. So this is how the portal looks like. So you use your Ghana card to log in. If you've not activated a Ghana card, you'll come to sign up, and then you come and then activate your Ghana card. So let's go back to my screen. So the outline of today's teaching will be on introduction, the law mandating each and everyone to file your personal income tax, the requirements, the filing procedure. There are some reliefs which are being enjoyed by individuals, the computation of your chargeable income, that's the tax credit or tax payment, and then I have something called IT Supplementary 51. So, law which mandates for filing of PIT. PIT is basically the personal income tax returns. So according to Income Tax Act 2015 Act 896, I quote, a person shall file with the Commissioner General not later than 4 months after the end of the year of assessment a return of income for the year. We are in the year 2024. So as an individual, you are supposed to, or you are required to file your 2023 income tax latest by 30th of April 2024. So this is the law that is required by each and every individual to file its taxes. Now, what is this tax? This tax is charged on an individual's total income. When I say total income, I mean income from business, income from investment, and then income from employment. So we have three streams of income. The business bit, if you're an individual and then you are doing business, you're an individual and you're employed by an organization. And then if you're an individual and then you have some investment, you must pay income tax if you're an employee, a sole proprietor, or a person in a partnership, and you earn income above 402 Ghana cedis per month. So if you are below 400 and So if your income is less than 402, you are not required to pay a tax because you are below the threshold. But 402 Ghana cedis per month, which means you are above the threshold. Is there any clarification here before I proceed? What are the requirements one needs to help in filing your personal income tax? We are looking at it from the side of an employee. You need your salary slip for each month. You need your TIN number. You need your telephone number. You need your Ghana card number. You need the employment information. That's the TIN, the name of the employer, and then the address of the employer. James, you have a question. Please ask.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, James, I can hear you.
Yes. So you said as an employer, you need your pay slip. So if I'm
Yeah.
working in a particular company, before even my salary comes, I'm sure they deduct tax. So do I still have to pay tax as me, myself, James, individual again, whilst already tax has already been deducted for my pay? I
Okay.
don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
I do get you. So to answer you, you need your pay slip that will confirm the amount of tax you are paying. I don't want to move to the last bit of it, but because of your question, let me put this in. So yes, your salary is being deducted. The tax you are supposed to pay is already deducted from your salary. And then you get your net salary via your bank or however you are being paid. So this tax, you just want to confirm if that is the right amount you are supposed to pay at the end of each month or at the end of the year. That's the annual one. So let's finish going through the requirements. You appreciate why you would need your pay slip for each month. I hope I've answered you.
Okay.
Can you hear me, James?
Yes, I can hear it. Thank you. Yeah, I understand.
Okay, so the next bit of it is the things you need to take note. You need to take note of your SNIT contribution. You need to take note of your PF contribution, if any. It's not all organizations that contribute PF for their employees, and not all individuals also contribute PF for themselves. And then you need to look at the income tax payments. And then I have something there that says that in all this, get a total since we are doing it for the year. So we know our SNIT contribution, the company pays a part of it, that's 13.5. When we are computing our income tax or our salary, the employee contributes 5.5%. So you need to take this note because it serves as a relief to the individual who is filing its tax. To move on, the requirements, you need your tax relief form, you need the personal income tax form, you need the IT supplementary 51. So who has seen the personal income tax form before? If you have, just show by way of a hand. In a moment, I'll show you how this is how the personal income tax returns forms look like. So you have the first information, which talks about your personal information. You have the business information. You have the business information. You have the employment bit. So that takes us back to the total income. Income from investment, income from business, income from employment. Then the fourth one talks about sources of income. So the first one, the A, if you have a business, that's where you prepare a financial statement to attach to it. Then if it's a loss or an income, you put it in there as per the financial statement. And take note, this financial statement needs to be audited. Then the B part, which we are concentrating on today, is the income from employment. So you have your basic salary, you have your cash allowances, excess bonus, benefit in kind, which sums up to your total employment income. You have your investment income as well. Some of the highlights there are royalties, interest, dividend, taxable rent, income from foreign source, others. Then it sums up your total income from investment and others. The D bit gives you a summation of total income. That's A, business, B, employment, C, investment. If you are for business purposes, you add back depreciation or non-allowable deductions. Then you adjust your profit or loss. In there, you deduct non-taxable income, allowable depreciation, such as capital allowance, carry forward losses. You have your net adjusted business profit or loss. You add your total investment income. You add your total employment income, which will give you total accessible income. Then you less income tax at different rates. Income tax at different rates relates to if you have set up a business and you are not in the capital, we have different rates for it. Hotel rates are different from business rates. Hotel rates are 22%. Limited liability companies are 25%. We have other companies whereby you have exemptions and so on and then so forth. The next bit is your reliefs. It talks about your social security, marriage reliefs, and then all that. So this is a typical form for your personal income tax returns. So let's go back to our slides. So that's a bit of so we have the next thing that you need to know, the requirements. You have the tax relief. A little bit of the tax relief is you are supposed to apply for the tax relief and you should be granted the tax relief. If you have not applied for the tax relief, you cannot claim the relief. That is per the act. So this is the tax relief form. So this is how the tax relief form looks like. So you have the year, and you're supposed to apply for this relief every year. So this is the tax relief for. The next thing you should have is the IT Supplementary 51. So let me show you the IT Supplementary 51. A moment, please. Before I bring in the IT Supplementary 51, let's go back to our income from employment. What is it about? How do you know that this qualifies for income under employment? The law is saying that an individual's income is the gains or profits from the employment for the year or during the year. This includes salaries, wages, leave pay, fees, commissions, gratuities, overtime pay, bonuses, and other benefits and allowances paid in cash or given in kind. So if you are being employed by a company and they pay you table top, that it doesn't pass through the bank. Maybe you're going to sell your leave and then they pay you. They are all income from employment. Overtime, if you do an overtime, it's also an income. Don't think that money is a free money. They are all income. You are supposed to pay taxes on them. Now we have exclusions. Why would you not add this to your income from employment? Final withholding tax payment. Discharge or reimbursement of an expense incurred by an individual on behalf of the employer that serves the proper business purposes of the employer. So let's say your employee sent you on an errand and then you incurred T&T expenses and it's being reimbursed back to you. You are being paid back. That is not considered as income from employment. Okay. Then we have something called a discharge or reimbursement of dental, medical, or health insurance expenses of an individual, where the benefit is available to each full-time employee on equal terms. That is also not an income. Redundancy pay, among others, they are all not income from employment. So you should have your basic salary. If you have your contract letter or appointment letter, you know your basic salary. If you have cash allowances, maybe you have communication allowance, fuel allowance, whichever allowance that you have, they are all taxable. They are subject to tax. You have excess bonus. There's a rule on bonus. Bonuses are only granted to qualifying junior employee from the tax law. You have accommodation benefits. You have vehicle benefits. These are benefits in kind. They are all rules pertaining to that. You could be an employee, but maybe you're a director of a company. If you receive director's fees, you are subject to add that to your income from employment. Now, income from business, it says that a person's business income is the gains and profits from that business for the year or during the year. This includes service fees, consideration received in respect of trading stock, a gain from realization of capital assets and liabilities. Basically, we are talking about your total business income. That's whereby you've prepared your profit or loss for the year, certified by an auditor. So once you have that, it's being classified as business income. We have exemptions as well. Final withholding tax payment. Some amounts are exempted from adding it back as a business income. Once withholding tax has been applied to it, it's a final withholding tax. And then any amount included in the calculation of a person's employment income. Now, income from investment, we are looking at a person's investment income in the gains and profits from the investments for the year or during the year. Dividends, interests on any, let's say you have a fixed deposit and then you're going to invest it. You have some lose money somewhere and then you're going to deposit it in, and then you have interest on it. It's a form of investment. Annuity, natural resource payment. We have people who are renting out their accommodations and then all that. So we have rent or royalties. Gain from the realization of an investment asset. Maybe you've sold an asset and then you've realized some profit on it. It's also part of your, if you've ever received gifts in respect of investment among others, you are supposed to add that as income from investment. If you are a director of a company and then you are getting drawings, you are supposed to add that also as investment. Now let's look at the reliefs. Before I move on to the reliefs, is there anyone with a question? Is there any question? No question. Asafo Ajay. Yeah, can I hear you? Asafo Ajay. Unmute and then ask the question, please. Can you unmute and then ask your question?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, please, I don't know, with the allowances, I don't know, maybe your presentation will bring us there, but let me ask. With the allowances, assuming I'm giving a fuel allowance, but the condition of service I'm working with is in gallons, let's say 35 gallons every month.
Okay.
And that one is converted to cash as part of the allowances for me. Am I required to add everything to the allowances column on the payroll and tax it, or you can use the threshold in the act with regards to vehicle only accommodation, vehicle driver, those categories. Can I use that? And when I use that, what are the requirements? And if I add everything to this, what is the best way out with regards to that? Thank you.
Okay. So to answer you, it's just fuel, right?
Yes, sir.
Again, it's just fuel allowance.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll use the restriction with vehicle benefits. We have a portion there which says fuel only. So whatever amount it is, once you have your total cash emolument, you have the computation. So when we get there, we'll do an example of that so that you appreciate it. Hello.
Yeah, very well. Then when we get there,
Okay.
thank you.
So any other question before we move on to the reliefs? So with the reliefs, we have the social security reliefs. This is what you contribute on an employee basis, like on your basic salary, that's 5.5%. You have the marriage or responsibility relief. This relief is granted to a resident individual who takes care of his wife or a husband, or takes care of at least 2 children. The relief is 1,200 per year. You have the child education relief. This this is granted to a resident individual who pays his or a child's school fees. This relief is granted to a maximum of 3 children attending any recognized registered education institution in Ghana. The key word in here is the relief is granted to a child who is attending a recognized registered educational institution in Ghana. And one thing you should note here is that both parents cannot claim the relief in respect of the same child. The relief is 600 cedis per child, and then the maximum is 3 children or 3 ward. We have the old age relief. This relief is granted to persons who are 60 years of age and above. The relief is 1,500. So if you are filing your personal income tax returns and you are not 60 years, you are not entitled to this relief. We have the aged dependent relative relief. This relief is granted to a resident individual who takes care of a relative who is 60 years old and above. The relief is granted up to a maximum of 2 relatives. Okay. The relief does not apply to a dependent spouse or child. 2 persons cannot claim this relief in respect of the same relative. The relief is 1,000 cedis per year. We have the disability relief as well. This is granted to persons who prove to the satisfaction of the Commissioner General that they are disabled. This relief is granted to disabled persons who receive income from business or employment only. The relief is 25% of the disabled person's income from business or employment. And we have the voluntary pension contribution. That's the PF. This relief is for individuals who contribute to the third-tier provident fund. And we know the provident fund is calculated on the basic salary. We have the mortgage relief. Those who have mortgages, you are entitled to reliefs as well. Mortgage relief interest. So it's the interest that you are entitled to, the interest that you pay is a relief to you. So mortgage interest relief is a tax relief based on the amount of qualifying mortgage interest that you pay in a given tax year for your principal private residence. And this relief can be enjoyed for only one building. Then we have the education relief, which is not for let me say continuing education, but it's basically for additional knowledge, upgrade of additional knowledge in terms of professional or technical or vocation skills. The relief is 2,000 cedis per year. So in case you want to undertake your master's degree That is not a relief. Then we have the disability relief. This is granted to persons who prove to the satisfaction of the Commissioner General that they are disabled. This relief is granted to disabled persons who receive income from business or employment. The relief is 25% of the disabled person's income from business or employment. Is there a question? Please unmute and then ask your question.
Hello, am I audible?
Can you unmute and then ask your question, please?
Hello, please, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, so I would like to ask question relating to the old age.
Okay.
I presume that in Ghana, when you are 60 years, you will be on pension by then. So in that case, do pensioners still file for these taxes? One, and if not, then where does the old age release comes in?
Okay, so with the personal income tax returns, we are looking at three sources of income. So with the age in question, if you are on retirement and you have a business, you are supposed to file. 60 years comes in when you are employed. That's when, but in private institutions, we have persons who are above 60 years who are still in private institutions. In, in the public sector, that's whereby the 60 years rule apply. But aside that, you are not supposed to.
Thank you, sir.
What did you say?
I was thanking you. I was saying thank you, sir.
Your first name is what?
Haifa.
Haifa. Okay.
Haifa.
All right. So these are the reliefs one person enjoys, but you always need to apply for the relief in order to enjoy the relief. And this relief would help you
Hello, sir.
pay a less tax. Hello. So is this Sylvester?
Yes, please. This is Sylvester.
Sylvester, please ask your question.
Right, thank you. So, in relation to the relief for the children,
Yes, sir.
we recently applied for relief, and the understanding was that if your child is not 4 years, you wouldn't be granted the relief. I want to find out if that's the case.
The child is not 4 years.
Yes,
From
that's the understanding we had.
which office, please?
Uh, I have to confirm.
How did you fill
Our
the form to apply?
Yes, we
Did you
filled the
fill the form
form,
to
but then
apply?
yes, we filled the tax relief application form, but then I think a colleague of mine wasn't granted the child the relief in relation to the child because we were told the child wasn't up to 4 years. It was quite it wasn't quite clear, so we wanted to find out if there's a clause in the tax laws that stipulates that, or
Well,
notwithstanding the age.
I've not come across any of that has to be the age limit or the age gap to grant the child education relief. I'll speak to the technical aid for the commissioner and then I'll get back to you on that. Neither have I experienced anything whereby somebody pertaining to the age, the relief is not being granted because of age gap or age limit. So I'll pick your number and then I'll get back to you. And one of the interesting things is that you go to this GRA office, they would grant you, you go to the other place to use a different criteria to not or they won't grant you that as well. So Sylvester, kindly drop your number in the chat box so that I get back to you on this. Okay.
Right. Well noted. Thank you.
All right. So any other question? Okay, so we can move on. So basically we concluded on the reliefs. So how then do we file? How then do we file? So after you have gotten all your totals, that's your basic salary. If you are enjoying any allowances, you've gotten all those things. So I have a little illustration here where you have a basic salary of 5,000. You have allowances of 1,200. You have tax deducted 820. So we have the totals in here. So basically, this is it. You have your, and then I've done some changes to the formula. So you can see directors fees of 10,000 in there, changing the total cash or gross salary to be 84,400. Let's assume that we've been granted a social security relief, which will be 3,300 on our basic salary. Okay, Emmanuel, can you unmute and then talk?
Okay.
Emmanuel
Good
Jan.
evening. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes. I have a few little reaction on the child relief thing that one of the participants spoke about.
Sure.
One of the basic requirements on child relief is that when you are filing for the relief, one of the basic requirements is that it's say child relief education. So you are required to attach a receipt for the payment of maybe school fees or yes, that's the basic thing. You need to attach a school fees payment. So it's assumed that before 4 years or so, the child may not be in school by then. So I think that that is the reason why the colleague's child was denied, because you are required to attach a receipt for the payment of school fees to it before you are granted. So that is probably maybe the reason why the child's relief policy was denied in that regard. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so I'll get back and then I'll give you a concrete response to that once I get over the phone with the technical aid. So once we've been granted this relief, it brings us to a chargeable income of 77,300 cedis. So this 77,300 cedis, we are going to use the graduated tax rate system to help us compute our tax charged for the year. So on my left side of the screen, we have the various rates and then the taxes that you are supposed to charge. So we would get a total of 15,212 Ghana cedis as the tax charge for the year. Now, with our illustration, we could see that we have a tax payment that we've already done, which sums up to be to 9,840 Ghana cedis as the tax paid for the whole year. So there's an outstanding tax liability of 5,372 Ghana cedis. Now, with this, the dynamics will change if we take off the director's fees of 10,000 cedis. The tax liability will reduce. Okay. And now, it could happen that's when you go on to the portal, it could happen that your tax ledger has not been credited with your tax payment you've done. So sometimes if you have this calculation done, you would see that your tax liability would be the same as the tax that has been deducted and then paid, but has not reached your ledger. So we'll look at how we can file this on the portal. So let's go to the portal. You use your Ghana card. Those who have not activated their portal, you need to activate it using your Ghana card. A code will be sent to the telephone number you used in registering. And then in this case, you change your password and then you can file your return. So let's look at the portal. So before we go on to the portal, make sure that all the things you've written them down. The personal income tax returns form I showed earlier. Isaac, your hand is up. Can you?
Yeah, hello, sir. Please, registry on the portal. Me, I have done it too. But I understand that before you can register on the portal, it means you uh you should be doing some maybe private business. Because when you are registering, GRA will ask you to pay some tax money upfront. When I was doing it, I paid 1,000 cedis upfront as part of the process. I want to be sure
How
about
can
it.
you be? I don't know of this. When you are registering on a portal, you don't pay anything.
When you are registering, I recall when I was registering on the portal, I had to submit some documents, and the document was maybe like my private business or something, and then to go as the process
You
went
are
through.
a private
The,
business, that is different. So
so
if you are
even if
registering a
you do,
sole proprietor, they are going to
yeah,
give you
so
an assessment and you are supposed to
yes,
pay. So that is different. So
that is
I said
different.
that with the personal income tax returns, we are looking at income from three sources. You have income from your business. So your business can be a company limited by shares, okay? It can be a sole proprietor. Now you have income from employment. That's where you are employed by an organization or an institution. And then you have income from investment. So it's these three sources of income that you
Okay,
consolidate them
uh,
and file your PIT.
okay, well noted, sir.
Thank you. So let's look at how we can file our personal income tax returns. So once you open the portal, you click on your status, you fill in you don't even fill in this side. The Ghana card number comes, your name, and then everything comes. Where you are supposed to tick, if your business financials is ready, you are going to choose the column attach financial statement. And this financial statement needs to be signed by an auditor. Okay. Then they are going to ask you, what are your sources of income? So if you don't have any source of income from business, you don't click it. If you have sources of income from employment, you click it. Then you click that for investment as well. So once this illustration is for employment, you have your TIN number of your employer, name of your employer, and then address of your employer. Then the fourth stage is the sources of income. So the sources of income, you have your basic salary. So with the example that we did, we have a basic salary of 60,000 for the whole year. We have cash allowances of 10,000. There's no any other cash benefit. There's nothing like excess bonus. But if you have this or you enjoy such privileges, you put in the figures in there. So when you fill all this up, you get a total employment income. Then you move on to investment income. So basically, the investment income talks about if you've received any form of income from investments, like you have a place, you have a rental place that you've given out, you are receiving rent income. You have to add it up to it. So you sum up all this income and then you have a total accessible income. Where it's not applicable, you don't fill that place. So this is automatically. Once you are done with everything, it computes your chargeable income together with your tax. Now, the bit where you need to input in is your tax that you have paid. That is going to less. So we have this side, the tax credits or payment on account. So tax credits could be the form of withholding tax credits, or the payment on account could be your PAY that has been deducted from your payroll and then paid. And then whatever you get would be the tax payable. If it's an overpayment, you see it in a bracket. So basically, this is what you are supposed to do. Once you finish with this, you click next and then it generates a tax liability for you to pay. It's so simple. It's so straightforward. Any question?
Yes, please. Please, I didn't, the business side.
Please, can you mature your voice a little bit? Can you raise your voice a little bit?
Hello.
Yeah,
Um,
hi.
yes. Please, I would like to know the business side. I don't know. I didn't see, or you've not got in there.
The business side.
Yeah,
What you want to, or what do you want to know at the business side? So the
no, there's
business side, to have a business, one, you are supposed to prepare an account, which should be certified by an auditor. So this account is going to show whether you made profit or you made loss. So there's a column in there whereby you are going to fill. If it's profit, you put the profit amount there. If it's a loss, you put the loss amount there.
Okay. Okay.
So for business, you need to prepare your account for business. For business, you would have your total income that comes in. If you are selling, you have things that you buy, you have maybe workers you pay, you take off all those expenses and everything. And then it should be certified that truly whatever you are presenting shows a true and fair reflection of the state of affairs of your company. Then in that case, you can add it up to the column. Let's go to the first column. So assuming we click business, the interface will change. There will be a first portion that would say that show me the PIT form. Show me the PIT form. Okay, so Kaifa, you see this place? No, go up. Okay, so the sources of income. Okay, here, 4. Do you earn income from business? If no, proceed to B. A, net business income or loss as per financial statement attached. Kaifa, can you see the side? Hello, Kaifa.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
So this is where you put in the income that you made or the loss that you made per your financial statement. And then you continue. Are we okay?
Yes, please.
But if you want more explanation or you want us to help you to file your personal income tax, you can always reach us. Personally, I'll do this for you for free, but no. For this year. But next year, you pay. Isaac, you have a question?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Isaac.
I wanted to ask a question. As
Okay.
the law mandates, every individual is supposed to file his or her personal income tax. But the
Yes.
reality, if you pick an organization, some people are not inclined, just as maybe we the professionals who will be able to do that. And so if you take a typical corporate organization where we have an accountant there, so is it the case that the accountant should do it for the staff or
Okay.
the
So,
individual,
to
because
answer you, what I do tell people are that the personal income tax is for you, the individual. So you should take it
yes.
upon yourself to file your personal income tax returns. Because to file your personal income tax returns, you need your Ghana card and a password dedicated to the portal. So you need to do that yourself. If you have business income or you have other investment income, are you going to give it to the accountant to file for you? You need to do that yourself. So it's an individual thing here. You need to do it yourself.
Mm. Then I think the tax authority they need to do more education on that. That's my suggestion.
Yeah, they are doing more education on that because now you could know that if you need a tax clearance certificate, you need to generate that. You need to generate that yourself on your portal. You don't go to your accountant to get it for you.
Okay, well noted.
I think there's a question in the chat box. Please, who is JB? JB says, please, the attached financial statements portion of the PIT form, what does it refer to? That is the person's financial statement or business financial statement? Okay, so JB, to answer you, is the business financial statement. So assuming you are a sole proprietor, you need to prepare your financial statements, which should be duly audited and signed by an auditor. That is what you are supposed to attach to your PIT for. Any other question? Any other question, please?
Yes, please.
Okay, is it Kaifa?
No, please. This is Glacia.
Okay, madam.
Yeah,
No
please.
question.
My own is not a question per se, but I'm concerned about the education. You see,
So, is it for GRA?
yes, the education by GRE.
Okay.
I am not convinced that they are doing more education. At times, you will be using the portal that you even have a challenge or you don't understand something. And when you call the office, I tell you, per my own personal experiences, since they introduced this portal, there are even GRA workers there who picks your call and don't have an idea of what it is to operate on the portal.
Yes.
So education needs to be given. The fact that you need to put in details or to access your own tax clearance certificate, it's not education. It takes the effort of professionals working to help people to be able to access the portal. GRA workers there do not even have an idea. Some do not even have an idea on things going on the portal to even assist you who needs their services. So please, if people like you or organizations like you are in touch with them, they should come out with innovative ways to let the taxpayers get the education to know what to do. Not that they will wait and when the taxpayers have problem and they go there, they ambush them with the laws. You didn't do this, you didn't do this, you have to do this. So this is what the penalties you have to pay and stuff. Please, it's a problem. Per my experiences working with people, working with organizations, and then reaching out to GRE, I have a challenge with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. Your concern is well noted. We'll channel it to the GRA officials and then we take it up. Also, in case you have a problem or a challenge with the portal, you can always reach out to makers and partners, and then we have a team of dedicated tax resourced individuals who would help you to navigate your way on the portal. So we are always here to help you.
Okay, thanks very much.
So there's a question. JB is saying that, please, is it a legal requirement that a sole proprietor must have audited financial statements? Yes, you should have an audited financial statement as a sole proprietor. What will be the basis on which an opinion will be expressed on your financials? So you need to have an audited financial statement.
Okay, so I want to add something to that.
So before he speaks, this is my managing partner at Makers and Partners. So please.
Okay. Thank you, Senior. So with the sole proprietor bit, there's no hard and fast rule on the sole proprietor to report their financial statement. But the challenge has always been when you prepared the financial statement and GRA rejects the financial statement, because GRA is one of the key stakeholders that ensure that you need to prove to them that the financial statement is actually free from any material misstatement. So it became part of the rule that all sole proprietor should be able to put 8 books together, and the books must be audited by an auditor. That is why my colleague is saying that you need to audit your account as a sole proprietor. So once you do that, now the account now, GRA now gets confident in the account that has been prepared and ensure that it is free from material misstatement. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so do we have any more questions? Isaac, is it Isaac Nanoa? Okay, so I'm typing my number there for you. You asked for our contact, so
Hello,
you
hello,
can.
sir.
Yes, Isaac.
You just mentioned my name.
You asked
I
for.
have no question.
No, this is a different Isaac,
Pardon?
please.
This is a
Okay,
different Isaac.
okay.
All right, sorry.
They-
Do we have any other question? We have a community we've created, okay? So we are going to put some of the tax snippets there for you in relation to personal income tax filing. If you have any questions or we are encountering any challenges filing your personal income tax returns, kindly reach us on the following numbers and we'll be glad to help you.